2 years ago, I found out that I was balding and my hairline was receding. And when you're balding and your hairline recedes, you really only have three options. A, you shave it off completely and go completely bald. Two, you wear hats everywhere you go. And three, you go get a hair transplant. And that's exactly what I did. I booked a flight to Istanbul, Turkey, and this is me 4 months later. In this video, I'm going to be detailing my entire trip and answering any of the top questions that you may have. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So how did I find out that I was balding? Well, 2 years ago, I noticed excessive shedding in the shower. I would rub my hair, just, comb it, whatever, put my fingers through my hair, and I just would see just loads of hair just all over the floor. And I was like, wait a second, this is not normal. Something's going on. I also noticed a big patch here that was missing where I had hair a few years ago. So I was like, wait a second. And that's when I actually went to a dermatologist. I went to two dermatologists in Los Angeles who both told me the same thing. No, you're completely fine. Your hairline is not receding. You're just maybe using some weird shampoo, or maybe you're scrubbing too hard. Whatever it is, you're absolutely fine. I was like, that's suspicious. So then I went to a clinic in my home state of Connecticut, and the doctor there told me that I'm absolutely balding. I'm experiencing either stage 1 or stage 2 male pattern baldness. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get this figured out, and I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to go bald. And he recommended either PRP. I said, nope, not interested in that. That's basically taking your own plasma and putting it into spots where, you don't have a lot of hair growth, but I've read that that's just a waste of money, so I wasn't interested. He then told me about getting a hair transplant in Turkey, and he actually was the one that gave me the idea, but he told me that if I go and do that, then nobody in the US is going to touch me if something goes wrong. So I said, interesting. So that's when I went down this deep rabbit hole and basically told myself, Turkey is where I'm going to go to get my hair transplant. So after countless hours of research, I finally figured out that yes, I will be going to Turkey to go get a hair transplant. And now the big question is, where do I start? So like any young man would, I started to look up on Google and YouTube and started to just do my own research about influencers and people that actually went to Turkey and maybe had a good experience or what their experience was overall. I found a YouTuber who basically went to Dr. Serkan Aygin and had an amazing experience there, and basically was explaining that, hey, in Turkey it's $5,000 or less than $5,000. In the US, it's $15K to go get a hair transplant, and it usually comes out a lot worse. So I said, you know what? I don't want that. I'm going to go to Turkey, and I'm actually going to go to this doctor here, Dr. Serkan Aygin. He seems like the best. And just to give you some context here, there are really 3 good clinics in Istanbul, because there's a lot of really bad ones. Obviously, that's where everybody wants to go to get a hair transplant. Right now, it's Dr. Serkan Aygin, Now Hair Time, and then there's another one that I don't know the name of, but there's one that people really talk about very highly of. And so that's something that I would consider, is just be very mindful about who you choose if you do decide to go. But that being said, I am not sponsored by Dr. Serkan. I have no affiliate to him. He did do my procedure, or that clinic did do my procedure, and I'm very happy with the results. As you can see, it's been 4 months. So just to kind of give you some context, this is not a paid post of any sort. So how much did everything cost me? I paid $3,600, not just for the procedure alone, but also for the hotel room and all that stuff. So it was all included, which was very nice. The rest of the trip, like the flights and the food, all that, I would say it totaled to $2,500. So $3,600 USD, and then $2,500 for everything else. So there's your price. In the US, the procedure alone would have cost you $15,000 to $20,000, and you would get a lot less grafts. So now let's cover what the actual days there look like, the travel, all that kind of stuff. So I took a flight from Dallas, Texas to Istanbul, Turkey. It was a straight shot, and as soon as I landed, the beautiful thing about it was Dr. Serkan Aygin's vans picked us up and took us to the hotel room. The first day was just chill, basically get relaxed and kind of just chill for a sec, because the next few days are going to get crazy. And they definitely did get crazy, because once I got there, I saw a lot of people all bandaged up, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is really serious. Like, because you see, it's a little bit of a shock, because you see a lot of people that are like bald, just are fresh out the surgery table. So they basically still have their cuts and their scabs and all that kind of stuff, but they're bandaged up, but it's still a little bit shocking to you. So the second day is when things got actually really good, because then I got to go to the clinic and I got to have a hairline drawn on me. I talked to the doctor. and basically, just kind of reaffirmed to me that I was a good candidate for a hair transplant. And they gave me blood. We did blood work. So basically, we did the whole thing, and it was a state-of-the-art clinic. Everything was extremely clean. They took scans. Honestly, it was a very, very great experience, and they basically were with you every step of the way. Yes, a lot of people come to Turkey, and they see a lot of people, but they have it down to a science. And as somebody that is visiting from the US, who, me, I've lived abroad, I've lived in different countries, but if you're somebody that maybe hasn't, it could be a little bit of a culture shock to you to be like, well, do I trust other people in foreign countries working on me? That's a real concern that people have. But here, this clinic was state of the art. You honestly couldn't tell the difference between here and the US. Honestly, if I had to be honest, I think Turkey was way higher, even just in terms of bedside manner. So that was something really, really interesting to me. So now that we were in Turkey for 2 days now, right? The first day we landed, the second day we got all the blood work and the hairline drawn on us. This day was the third day, and this was the operation day, by far the most intense day. So they took us from the hotel room to the clinic, and that ride felt like forever, I'll be honest. But as soon as I got in, I had to fill out some paperwork, and then they shaved my head. They put me in a gown, they shaved my head, and it was the first time I've ever seen myself bald, ever in my life. So I was like, oh, okay, now it's the real deal. And then I went under the operating table for 8 hours. So they basically numbed the top of my head. They gave me some sort of something to basically knock me out on it. The first 4 hours, they took out the hairs from the back of the head. And then the other 4 hours, they actually spent implanting them into the actual hairline as well as the top of the head as well. So basically, it was an intense procedure. It wasn't a very fun procedure at all. It's not something I ever want to do again. I got pretty dizzy in the middle of it, and it was pretty uncomfortable, I'll be honest. And there was times where I really thought I was going to pass out. Like, it wasn't a pleasant experience, but I'm glad it was over with. I had a salad in between those 8 hours. One thing, actually, they had a really good translator there, a US translator, who was there to kind of make sure that, everything went smoothly. It was a few nurses operating on me, not the actual doctor. The doctor came in about midway through, and he checked up on me, made sure everything was good. He redrew the hairline, and that's it. And so that was the extent of him being there, but overall it was comfortable, and I felt like I was in good hands. After we were done with the 8 hours, I finally got a chance to go see my girlfriend. She saw me all bandaged up. My head felt like Megamind, where it felt like I had like a big helmet on my head. It was all beat up a little bit. Day number 4, this is when I got all the bandages taken off, as well as laser treatment. So this was like a recovery day, and a chance for me to ask any questions that I may have, as well as they gave us a little goodie bag full of post-care stuff, the shampoo, as well as the lotion that you're going to be using moving forward. After you're done with the laser treatment, after you're done basically asking any questions that you may have, as well as getting a goodie bag full of lotion and shampoo and basically any post-care medicine that they're basically going to give you to make sure that this area doesn't get infected, is actually when you end up going home. And I had this hat that they gave me, this funny looking hat. This hat basically that makes you look like you're from Harry Potter. It's got like this really long pointy thing, and basically it makes sure that you don't touch that transplanted area at all. And ultimately, it's there to protect you from the sun, really. I mean, like throughout your whole journey of recovery and all that stuff, you really want to avoid the sun as much as possible, and that's exactly what this hat protects you from. So the aftercare and the recovery. Honestly, the recovery was the worst part. The first month was awful, especially the first few days were awful. My face swelled up. I had like a cranium head, and I just had constant headaches. But thankfully, I was taking the medication that they gave me. They gave me like a lot of rounds of antibiotics and all sorts of stuff for your stomach to make sure that the antibiotics are good to go and that they don't like bother your stomach too much. So overall, they did a really great job of making sure that we felt, whoever did the hair transplant procedure, that they felt comfortable and they had all the questions there answered for them. However, there was still that rough part of recovery, which was absolutely brutal. I'll be honest with you. It was not fun, but I'm really happy that we got it done with. That first month, I couldn't work out. I also, like I said, I still avoid the sun, but you can't wear any hats for 2 weeks. You're also waiting for the swelling to go down, so I would just think twice if you have any meetings scheduled. Let's say you're doing that procedure and then you have any meetings scheduled like the following week. I would just be very, very mindful of that. So then I actually started to get a really nice hairline the first 2 weeks. Kind of like the swelling went down, all the crust fell apart, and I had a really nice hairline. However, week 3 and 4 is when the shedding started, and that's when everything just completely fell off and I looked absolutely terrible. However, it is what it is. I wasn't mad about it. I realized that it was just part of the journey, and I don't wish to go back to that, but that is something that, you know, you have to be mindful of. So now for questions, what do I take? What do I do, right? So I basically used a lotion that they gave me. I used the shampoo that they gave me, but I also took finasteride, and finasteride is something extremely important that you do need to take. However, you know, it does come with side effects. There's no medication out there that doesn't come with side effects. And one of the things that I've done lately, because I have noticed some side effects, there's a lot of guys that say like, hey, you know, it only affects 1% of people, the finasteride does with any ED problems or anything like that. I said, I don't know, guys. Like 1% is pretty low, and I've talked to everybody, every guy that I've spoken to that takes finasteride has experienced some form of that side effect. And so I was like, oh, something's wrong here. But anyway, I switched over to a spray, a topical spray, and that was really, really good. That was a game changer. First of all, my libido came back. I felt great. And, you know, I still use it now, and it actually gets to the actual parts that you want, you know, to get to. So I really like that. And so that's something that I personally would look into if I were you. You know, how do I stop taking the oral finasteride and actually take a spray or something like that? So that was really, really helpful. And now, guys, I'm on the 4th month. So basically what you're seeing is me 4 months later. You know, this is how things look. Overall, I'm very happy with the results. Like, you know, I can work out again after the 1st month. So there's nothing, you know, I have no issues. The past 3 months, I was wearing a hat everywhere I went. Now that my hair actually looks really nice, I'm happy with not wearing a hat. So this has just been my experience, guys. Around the 12 to 18 month mark, you actually see the best results. So I'm basically waiting until I get there, but overall, I'm extremely happy. If I were you, I would make sure to do some research on it. You know, don't take this video as like me encouraging you to go do that. This is not what this is. This is just my experience and something that ultimately I'm extremely happy with. I didn't want to go bald, and it wasn't something that I was interested in. So just know that, you know, for women, there's a lot of things out there that they can do. They can get their boobs done. They can do a million things, Botox, all that, lip filler. So for guys, if you're balding, you don't need to feel ashamed and feel like there's nothing that you can do. So just something to consider and be mindful of. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm a celebrity social media manager. I used to manage social media for Mike Tyson, Mark Sanchez, the football player, Steven Crowder, Brendan Schaub, and many, many other celebrities. And now I run my own social media agency. And this YouTube channel is going to be about all the things that I learned along the way in my life and my journey, basically advice to my 6-month self. But if you have any questions about anything in particularly related to the hair transplant, let me know in the comments below. This channel is going to be self-improvement, business, social media, personal branding, things that are going to make you better as a young man. So subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.